Hey guys, my name is Jason with S&J Forest Products, and on today's video, I'm going to show you how I buck my logs. So we're standing here on a big western hemlock that blew over. There's the stump, and that stump's probably 10 or 12 feet high. Pan over it. There's my skidder for scale, so it's even higher than the top of my skidder. And it blew over in this last winter storm. I tried to get it cleaned out a little bit out of the brush so you can see it. But the brush is about to overtake it. You can see, we'll walk down this log here, but you can see that it's still green, or barely green, at the very top here. And these hemlocks don't last very long once they get blown down. They start to rot away pretty quick, and the fungus gets in them, and you know, the wood's no good anymore. So I'm out here in the spring. I'm going to be cleaning up the blowdown that I can scavenge out of here and try and get a load to the mill. But you can see here, there's still some green on it, so it's a fairly recent blowdown. And it's a pretty big tree. I'm going to try and get hopefully 3 saw logs out of it, 3 33-foot logs. But I gotta get it bucked first here. Bucked off the stump, and then I'll stretch out my log tape and we'll get a measurement and we'll start bucking off our logs. So let's go take a look at the stump and get that bucked off, and then we'll get some saw logs out of it. So every time I look at a tree, either to fall or to buck, I always kind of pretend it's a spring, like a leaf spring. And so this log here, this tree, is either in tension in the top and compression on the bottom, or vice versa. And so I'm not quite sure yet. I believe, because it's supported way out here on the ground and here on the stump, I believe the top is in compression and the bottom's in tension. So if I just started coming down here like this, my kerf would pinch close and pinch on my bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, I'm going to buck the top down about 1/3 of the tree. This tree is about 3 feet diameter and my bar is only 28 inches. So I'm going to come down, I'm going to buck the top third. I'm going to come over the top and buck this side. Then I'm going to follow my kerf straight down underneath all the way out, come under and buck up all the way through, and hopefully then my kerf down here will widen open, and I might even put a wedge in here to keep this kerf from closing. But then I can come all the way up through, meet my kerf on the top. And you got to be careful with these big stumps and these blowdown, because I believe once this stump is released from the tree, it's going to flop back in that hole really pretty quick. So I got to watch out for that, and I got to make sure I'm out of the way. Sometimes the stumps just hang there, but you never know. That's a lot of weight and a lot of force. Sometimes they go like the banshee down in that hole. So, but we'll get the saw fired up. I'll get the camera set up so you can kind of see what I'm doing, and we'll get this stump bucked off of here. right, well, we got our log on the ground. That was actually pretty anticlimactic. But you can see on our stump, I came down from the top. I went over, came on the backside, came down right through here, plunged in with the tip of my bar, brought all the way out the bottom, and then just brought it back up slowly. And there's just a little bit of hanging wood here that held on. So the stump stayed where it was, which is fine. I'll probably push it over with the skidder. So at least it's down on the ground and doesn't fall sometime when I don't want it to. But now let's get our tape in it. I'm going to measure out 33 feet and then we'll bucket again. There you go, it's 33 feet right in that knot. Now the mill is going to pay me on a 32-foot log. They like a 32-foot log spec, but they require an extra 10 inches. This mill requires an extra 10 inches on their log for trim for when they, saw it into 8-foot sections or 10-foot sections or whatever. So I just like to leave an extra foot, and that makes the mill happy. They get a bunch of trim. And I don't get dinged if I accidentally cut it 9 inches and their spec is 10. They ding me 2 whole feet. So I'm going to bucket here at 33 and we'll get paid for a 32-foot log. And then here in a minute, I'll show you how to scale this thing. All right, got our little mark there where we're going to bucket at 33. But I wanted to show you that end over here is supported on the ground. And this end somewhere over here is supported on the ground in the brush. And looking here, I've got 2 feet between the bottom of the log and the ground. So, again, thinking about this like a spring, this top is in compression, the bottom is in tension. So if I just cut straight down, the top's going to pinch closed, and the bottom is I'm never going to get to the bottom because it's going to pinch my bar. So again, what I'm probably going to do is cut down about the first third or half, cut the backside a little bit, because again, this is a pretty big log, even up 33 feet. So I can get my bar under, and I'm going to probably stick a wedge in the top, and then I'll just come up straight under, and the log should just plop down and be fine. One of the things you want to watch out for when you're bucking, not only is getting your bar cut pinched, but is what's called bucker's break. And so if I came in this log and I just came right up from the bottom, just zzz, like that, the kerf would open as I went. But as I got up to here, there's so much tension in this bottom log and compression in the top that this log may split both ways. And the mill really doesn't like that because they can't get a good log out of it. So if you come up and you just buck this straight up from the bottom and it splits out 4 feet, it's called a bucker's break. And the mill will ding you for that. So this is the butt log, which is going to be far and away the most value. And so I want to be really, really careful that I don't get a bucker's break in here and get dinged off, a bunch of feet on my butt log. So I'll set the camera up and you can watch me buck this section. I got our tree bucked. It actually is kind of suspended itself here. There's no wood in there. I've cut it all the way up through. And so it's just kind of, it's closed and pinched itself closed. So we'll go down to the next section. Looks like I got to do a little limbing here on this section. So we'll go limb this guy down, get another 33 feet from here out, and we'll buck it again. All right, here's our mark. I don't know if we're supported here on the ground or we got a little daylight between us there. So let's just buck this thing straight down and see what happens. I can kind of watch the kerf, and I can watch if it closes or opens. And if it starts opening, I'll do a little buck up from the bottom. But if it starts closing, I'll put a wedge in and then just keep on going. So there we go. That wedge held my kerf open, and I just went straight down through and cut her open. This is the second and third log, and still it's, I don't know, 24-inch diameter up here, 66 feet up the tree. So I'm going to go down and try and get one more log out of this thing, and we'll see what we end up with. All right, well, there's our buck between the second and then this is the third log. I got her limbed up here, which on this last log is kind of a pain because that's where all the branches are, and it's worth the least amount. So but I got it bucked up, didn't take too long, or limbed up. It has a really nasty cat face here, so I'm going to get some deductions for that. Both sides here, you can see where the bark scraped off, and it was probably rubbing in the top against a couple other trees or branches. But I came down here, I bucked off the top here. Turned out to be right at a branch whorl, but that's okay. And for hemlock, the spec is from the mill is it has to be 8 inches or greater. Whoops. Has to be 8 inches or greater across the narrowest part. So it's actually 9.5 inches this way, and it's 8 1/4 this way. So we're still within spec on this one, just barely. So I got an 8-inch top. I got a 33-foot log, There's a stump down there. So this was, we're standing at 99 feet up in the tree if it was standing. And so I got 3 33-foot logs out of this one. And the top still goes up there another 25, 30 feet. So this was a 120, 130 foot tree before it blew over. So we'll get the skidder hooked up. I think I can only get the 2 lower logs on because this hemlock is really, really dense and really heavy. So I don't think my skidder can pull all 3 of these at once. So I'll get the first 2, get them drug out to the landing, and then we'll come back and get this 3rd one, and we'll take a look at the scale on all 3 of them. So I've got to double up my chokers because the diameter of the log's so big. So I'm gonna put one knob in this bell. I've got the other one here. Into that bell. So now the butt log's choked up and ready. I'm going to drag this last choker down there and see if I can get that other log choked. I might need to bring my 8-foot choker with me. But we'll get them choked up and bring these 2 nice logs out of the woods. Well, I've tried a couple times now to pull these 2, and my winch brake keeps slipping. So I'm gonna have to just pull the butt log here, just this one log. So I'll pull that out, and then maybe I'll try and get the 2 top logs if I can pull those 2. But this hemlock is a big, heavy bugger to get out of here. So let me unhook the 2nd log. We'll try and just pull this butt log out, and then we'll come back for another turn with the other 2. Okay, here we go. All right, well, here's our 3 logs. And this is the big end. And you always scale from the small end. So I'm going to go down on this side here. We'll take a look at the tops and we'll get a scale on this tree. So here's the small end of the logs. And you can see there's some of that black staining on them. And that's that rot and fungus I was talking about starting to take over. I think the wood's still good. I'm going to ship them. But I wouldn't want to wait another couple of months because it would have been pretty much worthless at that point. So we got them bucked out to the mill. On my logging tape here, I burned 2 inches. So this is the big log, the butt log is 23 inches, but then I got to subtract 2. So this is a 21-inch log. This one up here is 19 inches, burned 2 is 17. And then this one down here is that 8 one. Yeah, so 10 and burned 2. So 21, 17, and 8. All right, so this is a Scribner scaling chart. That's what we use here on the West Coast. And so you find the diameter of your log. I think I said 21. And you come down to a 32-foot log. That's 610 board feet in the butt log. And then we had a 17 at 32 is 370. So 610 and 370 is 980. And then we flip over here. We have an 8-inch diameter at 32 is 70. So these 3 logs have 1,050 board feet in them. So that's about a quarter of a log truck load right there. I get about 4,000 board feet in the log truck load. All right, guys, well, thanks for watching our video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And be sure to check out my channel for other logging and forestry management videos. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.